Good afternoon, boys and girls. Today we're going to be talking about science. We're going to be talking about severe weather. Please follow along. We're going to be talking about four types of severe weather storms that we have in our area. And so what is a severe storm? Well, a severe storm requires a large amount of thermal energy, also called heat energy or simply heat, in order to form, as well as sudden changes in air pressure that cause a swift air movement. The four types of storms that we will be talking about will be thunderstorms, tornadoes, hurricane, and droughts. And where do we get the heat from for these storms? From the sun. Thunderstorms produce heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. Thunderstorms occur along fronts with warm, cold, and moist air masses. They form huge cumulus nimbus clouds, and they can include strong winds and hail. Major damage can occur from strong winds, hail, and even flash floods caused from thunderstorms. Thunderstorms. Lightning occurs when negative electrical charges build up in the clouds. Because opposite electrical charges attract, the negative electricity travels from the cloud to another cloud or the ground, which is positively charged. Thunder occurs when the air around a lightning bolt heats up quickly, but the heated air expands quickly. This causes a clashing sound. Lightning heats up about 30,000 degrees Celsius. Flash floods can be caused by a number of things, but most often due to extremely heavy rainfall from thunderstorms. Flash floods can occur due to dams or levee breaks and or even mudslides. Tornadoes are sometimes called twisters. There's a portion of the United States that we call Tornado Alley, and this is the area of the Great Plains centered on eastern part of Kansas and Oklahoma, and including parts of the surrounding states where these tornadoes occur more frequently. And why do you think the Great Plains? And I'll leave that as a question for you to ponder and think about. Well, tornadoes occur along fronts when a cold air mass laying on top of a warm air mass. That's why tornadoes usually occur in the spring when the cold air from Canada is coming down and the warm air from the Gulf is coming up, and they meet, and the cold air lays on top, create an instability within the area around the land. But now we're seeing that tornadoes occur throughout the year. Tornadoes form over land. Our tornado is the only storm in its severity like that forms over land. They produce violent rotating columns of air and connects with the ground that forms at the base of a cumulus nimbus cloud. High velocity winds that are different speeds at different heights, and they go in different direction. Not one tornado takes the same path. You can have three in the same area, and they all take different paths. They go in different directions. Usually they are very small, around 500 to 100 feet in diameter, and they move quick and very strong and destructive. They only last for but a few minutes, but the destruction that they leave in its path is devastating. They are measured by the Fujita scale according to their wind speed and damage that they provide. Here on this page of the slide, you see a tornado. You see it touching the ground, going up to the clouds. Sometimes we call them funnel clouds because it does look like a funnel, large on top and thin and skinny at the bottom. Here you see the Fujita scale, and you see how they are measured by the wind speed. Take the time to review that, please. Hurricanes. Hurricanes are large, whirling low-pressure system storms that form normally over the warm Atlantic Ocean near the equator. Hurricanes form over water, and not just cold water. It has to be warm water because they feed off of the warmth and the moisture of the water in the southern area close to the equator, where it's usually hot all year long. Typhoons, which occur over the Pacific Ocean, and cyclones, which occur over the Indian Ocean, are the same type of storms as hurricanes. They produce a wind that rotates in a counterclockwise fashion and at about 119 kilometers per hour, which is about 75 miles or greater. Hurricanes are named, and they don't get their names until the wind speeds reaches about 75 miles per hour. Until then, if they're less than 75 miles per hour, they're usually called tropical depressions. But as soon as the speed reaches 75 miles per hour, a hurricane is given its name. Now you can go online and find the named hurricanes for 2020 and see if your name is on there. And hurricanes are known by their names. They travel west. They pick up heat and moisture and energy from the warm water, and that causes them to grow. Sometimes they can sit in the Atlantic Ocean for days just gathering, and then they move and they can turn and they can go, but they can still stay in the Atlantic Ocean for several days, picking up speed and energy. A hurricane will lose its power and weaken when it goes over land. Okay, so once it goes over land, it will weaken, but sometimes when it passes the land, it can come back together and form again over, remember, the water in the Atlantic Ocean is usually warm, and it can grow stronger. And that has occurred several times. Hurricane creates high winds, heavy rains, and high ocean waves and floods. The center of the hurricane is called the eye. Sometimes as a hurricane is approaching an island, the island will receive the front end of it, and then the eye will pass over, creating a kind of a clear, calm day. And then as it proceeds over the island, the back side of the hurricane can cause just as much damage as the front end of the hurricane. Here are two pictures of a hurricane, and you can see the eye, the center of the hurricane, and you can see the clouds and the rotating in the counterclockwise fashion. Counterclockwise meaning if I'm starting at 12, I'm going to my left, and so you can see that it is rotating going to the left. Hurricanes are categorized also by the damage and the wind speeds that they have, but they're measured on a different scale, and this is the Saffir-Simpson scale, and they are usually categorized as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 based upon their sustained winds. 1 being the small one, not a lot of damage, but 5 being the biggest and causing more catastrophic results. This was Hurricane Katrina that hit New Orleans several years ago. I've put a video up here for you to watch. It's about hurricane pilots. These are pilots that fly into the hurricane to collect data that is sent back to our National Weather Service, the Weather Channel, AccuWeather, with the latest data that they've collected about the wind speed of the tornado, the eye of the tornado, the direction that it is taken, if it is on the straight path, if it's turning. So all of this is done by pilots flying into a hurricane. And last year was the first time that they had an all-female crew that flew into one of the hurricanes. So please watch the video. The next storm that we will talk about are droughts. Not a lot of areas in the United States experience this, but these are caused by periods of below average precipitation in a given region. These result in an extended shortage in the water supply, and you think, where does that come? Well, if they don't get the amount of rain over the winter or snowfalls, and then they don't get any rains in the spring, then with the heating of the earth from the sun causes the water to evaporate in the lakes, rivers, streams, and this causes drought. Droughts can be caused by changes in the wind patterns that move clouds and moisture. These changes can cause a place to not receive its normal amount of precipitation. Now, if you look at those pictures, you can see that, one of them looks like a little small streams. No, that was actually a very large river. And those rocks are the bottom of the river that you normally really don't see. You can see as the water evaporates and recedes into like a little small pond, what is left is the bed of the lakes, rivers, and streams. And so all the while, all the life that's in those rivers die. So it creates a problem for the fishing industry. So, um, how to protect yourself from these storms. I provided some safety tips for you. Be prepared in advance when conditions are right for severe storms or when they are to occur. Take them seriously. In this day of technology, please make sure that your phones and laptops and computers are all plugged up and have a charge so that you can stay informed of what any alerts or warnings that will come. Stay tuned to the weather or television reporting the weather. Listen for any warnings that may be issued by the National Weather Service. And take immediate action. If there's a tornado, please go to the basement, the lowest place of your house or building. If you can't go to a basement because you don't have one, or you can't go to the bottom of your building, please go to the center room in your house. Sometimes that's a bathroom. Get in the bathroom, get in the tub, and hunker down. If you are in a hurricane, they tell you to lock up your house, board it up, and then leave, especially if you're on the coast. You don't want to be anywhere around one of those storms when they hit because we don't know the severity of them and what turn they will take. Thunderstorms, if you're outside, stay low, get away from trees, and stay away from chain link fences, and please take cover somewhere inside of a building. Now that you have heard the presentation of severe storms, I want you to go back and look at it yourself if you need to, but will load it up on Google Classroom, and also a quiz will be loaded up on Google Classroom, and the quiz is due tomorrow. So have a good day, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you again.